welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another review for you guys. The drugstore has been releasing so many products I can't even keep up with them. So NYX came out with their own Total Control drop foundations that look like this. I did only see 4 at Ulta when I was there in person. I picked up Natural and True Beige. I wasn't for sure. They didn't have a sample or anything like that. Ulta does show 14 shades online, but NYX is showing 24. Which was really weird that at the Ulta they only had 4. Maybe they had to pull out more. I'm not for sure, but the display only had 4 shades. They do have their own brush that you can use, and I almost bought it, but I said, you know what, I have like 300 brushes. I'm sure you have something similar. Plus, I like to apply with the Beauty Blender. Even though I do try it with the brush, I said, I know I have something at home. I really don't need this brush. Normally, I am about warm beige, natural beige, nude beige, like drugstore. Everybody asks for my matte color. I do not like MAC foundations. They always break me out. I wear very natural coverage most of the time. Very rare do I go in like hardcore, full coverage with powder and all that. I like natural coverage, you know, that's what I use on my face, so I don't like MAC. So I'm sorry I don't know what I am in MAC. So sorry. We all know that Cover FX has their own drops. I think those are $40-something. I'll insert the price right here. And recently Hard Candy came out with their own, and they look like this. They are their camouflage mix and drops. I have a full review on these. I will link it down below. Absolutely love them. They had, I want to say, like 3 or 4 shades of each one. I think there's like 12 shades of those. They might release more, who knows, and those are only $7. So now NYX came out with their own, and they come in a little frosted bottle like this. And let me put this one side by side. I don't have the Cover FX. I actually returned it. So just so you guys get an idea, you do get 0.43, and with this one you actually get ½ an ounce. Okay, so almost ½ an ounce, but $7 versus $14, and I believe the Cover FX are around the $40 range. I want you guys to see how these go onto the face, and then I'll come back and tell you about it. So let me show you guys the demo of me applying it different ways, a couple layers, building it so you guys can see how they work. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops on the back of my hand. I like to dot the foundation all over my face. So we're going to start off with this side. So you guys can see it's very, very yellow, but it does blend into my skin once it's buffed in. I played with this last night. So for this side, I'm going to use the damp Beauty Blender. As you guys can see, it's pretty sheer, and my face is red because I just shaved my face and it exfoliates all my skin, so you guys will see a whole bunch of redness or little things like that sticking up. I'm gonna start off with this bottom part here, and right there you guys can already see it gave color versus, like, if you look at that little part peeking there versus this, it already gave us a little bit of color. Okay, so that there is a very light sheer layer, but you guys can see it gave me color, and it looks a little smoother, not too much because it's so thin, but you guys can see it definitely, if you look at the face here, that it did add some color. And I still have some foundation on my hand, so I'm just going to go over like these little areas where I got freckles, around here, around this birthmark that makes it look like I got really bad contour going on, and a little more on the forehead. And then I'll just take the rest and pat it in. So this is what it looks like after 6 drops on one side of my face. So I honestly think that you'll need more than the 3 drops. And keep in mind that the damp Beauty Blender will absorb your products, so you definitely want to add more when you're using a damp sponge. I'm going to be using the same amount of drops. Ooh, I think I got like 6.5 there. It's super runny though, but I just like to blend it like that. Now I'm just going to buff it all in. Something I noticed right away is that on this side right here in my crease of my nose right here, Right there, I can see the dryness a lot more versus this side here. And I was recently sick, so I, you know, blowing dried out that area of my nose. Another thing I can see is that the pores right here versus these right here are a little more noticeable because since you're not getting that moisture from that beauty blender, it stay a little more dry on this side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going back in with the rest of the foundation to buff it in for that second layer, taking the rest of the product. I don't think you'll be able to see this through the camera, but when I look in the mirror here, I can see that this side looks a little more natural and more hydrated versus this side. Around this area here, around the nose, or anywhere that I'm dry, especially right here, oh Lord, I could see in my 11s here in this dry patch, I can see that the foundation is clinging on and it's very, very visible. You can always fix it by going over it with the damp beauty blender. I do see that this side over here has a little more coverage than this side, but in reality I feel like I would use the beauty blender because it adds that little moisture into your face. I went ahead and I wiped my face clean, and I'm going to be mixing the drops in with some foundation, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do half of the face with a brush and then the other half with a beauty blender. For the foundation, I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD in Natural, and I usually just take a pump like that. And then for the drops, I think I'm only going to put in 3. 1, 2, and 3. So starting off with the right side, we are going to do the same thing that we do. And again, the damp beauty blender. And this foundation does have a nice glow, so it shouldn't look too dry. Okay, so there we go. So this side of my face has some foundation and the drops mixed in. You guys can see it looks really nice and glowy. This one's a little more dull and pale, but here is your side by side on it. Going in with some foundation on the left side, we're going to use our brush. So, again, the same thing. I do notice that my left side has a little more coverage versus the right. Not too much, but I can tell by looking. I really like the coverage that the foundation and the drops give me together. It looks so freaking, look at that, you guys. It looks so flawless. I like it. It looks really pretty. Hopefully it comes through on camera, but I really like the coverage that it gives with those two mixed. As you guys can see, the drops are very runny. It's almost like water with like a slight little like thickness to them. The Cover FX are a little more thicker than these, and I do believe that the Hard Candy is a little slightly thicker than these. These are super runny. Let's start off by saying this. These foundations or drops, these two here that I have, because Cover FX is more full coverage, obviously. Out of the three, Cover FX has the most pigmentation, more coverage. You get what you pay for. And they're buildable. All three of these are buildable, I will say that. But let's keep this in mind. These drops are more of like a natural thing you guys can build up. You can build it, I would say, to a medium coverage. I would never say that these type of drops are full coverage unless you guys build them the hell up and then powder. But you're defeating the purpose when you guys start to powder and lock everything in, because you're building it to more of a full coverage. These are more intended for a light, you know, natural coverage, but they are buildable. So always keep that in mind. And I keep, you know, always applying these things. I'm like, well, this isn't full coverage. And then I forget that these products are actually very lightweight. So you have your light coverage, your medium, and then you have your full coverage foundations. And these are, you know, obviously light. You defeat the purpose once you start caking them on and trying to make them full coverage, and then you end up cakey. So keep that in mind. This would be more for people that want a light coverage or just to even out your skin, somebody that has flawless skin or young skin that you're not trying to cover too much. That's my opinion. The best way that I like to apply these things are with a damp beauty blender, because if you are a little dry or have, you know, some dry patches or areas with hair or any peach fuzz, these will cling onto dry patches. So yes, applying it with a brush, you get more full coverage. With your damp beauty blender, you get more of a natural, flawless coverage. But you can build a little more with the beauty blender and add that little moisture in there. I just feel like that works with any foundation. Even with the foundation I'm wearing today, I get a lot more coverage using a flat top brush versus the beauty blender, but it does add that moisture. And because I am dry, because it is cold right now, I need that extra moisture. And priming and hydrating your face always is a must. So I played with these on my face, you know, on their own with the primer, and then I mixed them in with foundation, as you guys saw in those demos, and I wore them. They're really good drops. I enjoy them, but I just don't feel like they're for me. I feel like the hard candy adds more coverage with less drops. On the box, it tells you that 2 drops is light, 3 is medium, and then 4 drops and plus is full coverage. Honestly, I don't think that I could even start off with 3 drops. I need 6 drops at least to start off with, you know, just one side of the face, because they're so sheer. I don't know how 2 drops would even start off, to tell you the truth. I feel like you need at least 6 drops, you know, for the face. That's just the way, you know, I felt when I was messing with them. What I do like about the one I got, which is the natural one, yes, I believe this is my natural, let me see, yes, my true beige, is that it's a very yellow pigment. It's super, super yellow, so I like this because I can mix it with my darker foundations, like the foundations that I usually use when I'm tanned. I can go ahead and mix 2 or 3, that's it, just to alter the color a little bit. I don't like using white drops or white foundation mixer things because I just feel like they turn a little gray. So I feel like this would be a plus to keep, just to mix in for your foundations. When you see this on your hand, you're like, whoa, that's really yellow. But once it goes onto your face and it settles in, it actually matches my skin really, really good. So I feel like mixing these in with a foundation, it's a lot better. They wear better. I feel like alone, it does give me nice coverage for like a quick on the run type of thing, but I'm just not a big fan of them alone. They do kind of, because they're so light, they do rub off really easy. I mean, they work great with other product on your face. You always have to make sure that it doesn't make your stuff patchy. It sets in really nice into your face. You know, it's not like super glowy and it's not super matte. It's just a normal foundation, but I just don't feel like these are for me. I don't find a purpose for them being used alone. I do love them mixed in with my LA Girl Pro foundation, because mine, which is also natural, is a little too dark, so I put in 2 or 3 drops and it does make them a little more yellow. I was hoping I'd like them, but I just feel like they're too light. I mean, yes, it's a lightweight foundation and they're drops, blah, 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 but the hard candy has a little more coverage to where you can wear them alone, or this will give you more buildable coverage. They're okay. They're good for an everyday average person with beautiful, flawless skin. But for me, let's see, a rating 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it a 5. And I'm being nice. I really don't care for them too much alone. Overall, am I going to reach for the foundation after I've tested it and played with it? Probably not. I feel like the only time I'm going to reach for this foundation is when I want to alter and change the colors of darker foundations, and that's it. I don't think I'll wear them alone. I just feel like I really have to build up the foundation. Like the first one I went through with 6 drops, and then I felt like I went back with another 3 or 4 drops, and I still was like, I don't feel like it's something I'll wear on my own, like I said. So I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully I covered everything. Keep in mind that it also depends on your skin type, because I know that anybody with oily skin needs to stay away from this. This is more of a normal skin, because if you're dry and you have dry patches, it does cling on. The best way, if you do have a couple little dry patches here and there, the best way to apply this is with a damp beauty blender, and you have to use a good moisturizer or a very good hydrating primer. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, because I'm always posting everything there. Another thing is that on Snapchat I do post like mini hauls, unboxings, swatches, little demos like I did today with this foundation, and you guys can see what I'm up to on my everyday life. And of course, that's at the one and only Maria. Please follow me on Instagram, thumbs up the video if this was helpful. If you bought the foundation and you have different thoughts about it, also leave a comment down below. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.